Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you all so much for joining us for tonight's virtual event hosted by Celebrity Cruises. As most of you who know me well will know that I am really passionate about cruising, and Celebrity Cruises is just one of my favourite brands. And I think I remember my last cruise holiday was on Celebrity Edge, the beautiful ship, back in January 2019. So at Oasis Travel, cruising normally represents about 35% of our business, but just when I was speaking to Val earlier, I was saying that since Christmas, our new sales have been over 50% of those have been for cruise. So it just really shows really the confidence that people have in the cruise product. And of course, many of you have travelled, have cruised before, and it just shows how much I think people are really missing cruising. So tonight, of course, you are free to ask any questions. You can type your question into the Q&A button on Zoom. We have had a couple of emails come through with questions, so we'll take those at the end. So I would like to hand over now to Valerie Murphy. Valerie's joining us tonight, I think, from Dublin, Val. So you're very welcome, and thank you for giving up your evening to be with us. And
thank you.
Hand over to you now, Val. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Sandra. And I am just going to share my screen. Great, and here we are at last. So thank you very much, and thank you, Sandra, for inviting me here this evening to showcase Celebrity Cruises and give you some inspiration for your holidays. I know some of you have probably cruised with us before and others may be new to cruise. So what I want to start by doing is, first of all, just tell you a little bit about Celebrity Cruises. Then I am going to give you a quick ship tour so you can see what it looks like on board our ship. And then I am going to just touch on some of the lovely destinations that we go to give you some inspiration for your holidays. And I've got some lovely videos that I'm going to show you as well. So without further ado, we will kick off. So Celebrity Cruises, we have been in business for 30 years. We have 14 ships in our fleet, and we provide 5-star luxury cruising holidays to the 7 continents. I just want to touch briefly on our brand pillars, because these are the areas that we focus on and where we always try to elevate the guest experience. So when it comes to a destination, we visit iconic destinations and offer a very personalized local experience. When we come to the design of our ships, we have employed some of the best architects and designers in the world to design our fleet. Most recently, we engaged the services of Tom Wright, who designed the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, and Kelly Hoppen to design and build our beautiful Edge and Apex ships. When it comes to accommodation, we offer spacious accommodation, including beautiful suites, the retreat, which I will touch on later. And then when it comes to culinary expertise, our menus are overseen by our Michelin star chefs. And if you're into wine, we have one of the biggest wine cellars at sea, and we have certified sommeliers in all our restaurants. So it's a truly beautiful culinary experience on board our ships. We've seen a lot recently that more guests are getting into wellness, and they like to incorporate a little bit of wellness on their holidays. So this is what we are doing. We're catering for that wellness aspect by offering beautiful and state-of-the-art spa facilities and fitness centres. And this is all underpinned by our World at Your service on board our ships, which is impeccable from start to finish. One of the great things about Celebrity Cruise is that we have a 2-to-1 guest-staff ratio, as we really try to make that experience on board our ships special. I'd like to now begin our ship tour. So we're going to start at the top of the ship. So these are images of Edge and Apex, and this is the pool area. So you can see we have beautiful swimming pool with martini shaped hot tubs. There's lots of lovely deck chairs around the pool. During the day, it's the most exquisite place to relax. And then at night, when the sun goes down, the lights come on, and it turns into a great venue in the evening for music and entertainment. We also have on board, which you can hire out during your cruise, are these beautiful cabanas, both on our Edge class ships and on our Solstice class ships as well. And we also have a lovely indoor solarium, which is a really nice place to relax, especially if you've had a nice big lunch and you're looking for somewhere quiet to have a little snooze in the afternoon. And the great thing is it's an adult only solarium too. Moving on, this is our famous magic carpet, and the magic carpet is only on our Edge class ships, and it's a cantilever platform that sits over the side of the ship. And originally when we designed Edge, and we had this platform, it was really to help with the embarkation, to have a smooth embarkation on our ships. And then we decided, well, what else can we do? Because it's a great space. So what we've done now is that it moves up the ship, and on different decks, it becomes a different space. For example, on deck 5, it becomes an extension of this fabulous specialty seafood restaurant called Raw and 5. We then move it up to deck 14, and it becomes an extension of the resort deck where the pool is. And you can sit outside and have a nice drink and some lunch, and over, you know, look at the beautiful views from the high above the sea. And then what we do is once or twice during the sailing, it'll go right up to deck 16, and it becomes this amazing dining experience called Dining on the Edge. So it's a truly wonderful experience to have on board Edge. We also have this beautiful space, the rooftop garden. And again, it's a nice place to relax during the day and in the evening. Throughout the day, we have music and different activities. There's also a lovely restaurant up on the rooftop where you can have a nice al fresco lunch or dinner in the evening. And on our Solstice class ships, we have half an acre of lawn. So again, it's a lovely experience for our guests on these ships to relax and take in the views on the lawn. We have beautiful spa facilities. This is the spa designed by Kelly Hoppen on board Edge and Apex, and it has 8 thermal suites, which are just amazing. One here, you can see that one there is the float room, and if somebody books an aqua class room, they actually get access to the spa thermal free, complimentary. We also offer 129 different treatments in the spa, so you can really take time out and relax and indulge and rejuvenate and come back from your cruise holiday feeling wonderful. We also have a fully equipped fitness center on board the ship as well. When it comes to accommodation, we offer lovely spacious accommodation, from insides to ocean views to balconies, and again then to suites. And I have a lovely little video I'm going to show you now, which will just highlight what you can get with the suite on Celebrity. So you can see we really have something special when it comes to the retreat and the suites. If you do book one of our suites, you also get access to a special retreat sun deck, which is like a little exclusive resort within a resort where there's a swimming pool or hot tubs. You have your own nice luxurious loungers, and then there's retreat attendants to take care of your every need, bringing you cocktails, etc. We also have the retreat lounge, which is again a private lounge area for our retreat guests. And here you can avail of complimentary beverages, gourmet snacks, and there is a concierge there who will help sort out any onboard or shore excursions or bookings that you need to make. They're happy to help, and they're pretty much available 24/7. We also, one of my favorite things is the special dining venue, which is called Lumine, and that's an exclusive restaurant purely for our retreat guests. The menu is overseen by our Michelin star chef. It changes every day, and the menu is exclusively for Lumine. You can't get that food anywhere else on board the ship. So it's really something special. Guests who stay in the retreat as well, they also get additional things like a butler, etc. So it's a really special place, and as you can see, lots to do. We also have lots of other dining venues on board. We have up to 29 restaurants and bars on the likes of Edge and Apex. We have some really lovely specialty dining restaurants like the Grand Bistro, and for guests, as I mentioned earlier, who say to take an aqua class room, they have their own special restaurant called Blue, and they can have breakfast here or dinner here. The meals here tend to be slightly healthier, and so instead of putting on maybe the usual 6 or 7 pounds that you usually do in a cruise, you might only put on 3 or 4. So there's lots of dining venues on board our ships for you to avail of. And this is just a little taster of some of the food that's served up to whet your appetites. Just continuing on with some of the amazing spaces we have on our ship. The picture up here, this is the Grand Plaza, which is on Edge and Apex, and also Eden. And these two areas are, again, lovely places to relax. During the daytime, you can have coffee, lunch, snacks, etc., and just chill. And then at night time, these places become alive and vibrant with music. And again, down in Eden, you can have an amazing meal down there as well. And this chandelier above the Martini Bar here, at night it lights up, and they do light shows with it as well. This picture down here is the famous Ice Top Martini Bar, which is on board our Solstice class ships. And again, it's another great spot to have a couple of drinks either before or after dinner. We have world-class entertainment on board our ships. We have amazing production shows. They're similar to Broadway shows. We have music concerts with lots of different genres of music. We even have some American ballet theatre on certain sailings as well. And on our new ships on Edge and Apex, we have totally transformed the theatre. We've actually thrown away the curtain. There is no curtain. It's a state-of-the-art theatre. The acts either come from down from the ceiling or up through the stage, so it's really high tech, an amazing experience, and so there's something then really for everybody when it comes to entertainment on board our ships. I just want to touch briefly now on our campaign. This is always included. We introduced this last November. We had a lot of feedback from guests, and I suppose a lot of people always felt that booking a cruise can be kind of complicated. And I have a little ad here, which is 30 seconds, and I think it explains very well what Always Included is about. So I'll just show it to you now.
Booking most cruises could be complicated. Limited time promotions that only apply sometimes on some rooms to some places. But this isn't most cruises. This is Celebrity Cruises. And we think cruising shouldn't be confusing. That's why drinks, Wi-Fi and tips are now always included. Every sailing, every room, every time. Always included. Celebrity Cruises.
So I think that ad really sums up our Always Included. So just to briefly touch on it, so when you book a stateroom with us, you'll get the basic, which is always included, which is your tips, your Wi-Fi, and your classic drinks package. If you then would like to upgrade, you can upgrade for £25 per person per day to Elevate. And with Elevate, you get a premium drinks package, and you also get up to 200 per person inshore excursion onboard credit. It depends on the length of your cruise. You'll see there, if it's a 10 night, it's 200. If it's between 6 and 9 nights, it's 150 per person. And then if you wish to upgrade again, you can opt for Indulge. So with Indulge, you get everything that you get in Elevate, which you get stream Wi-Fi, so you can download movies, etc. And then you also get additional onboard credit, so you get double the onboard credit. So that is our always included. And then just to highlight that if you are a guest staying in the retreat, so you're in a suite, you automatically get the Indulge package as part of your cruise. So now I'm just going to talk about destinations. And as you see, we go to over 280 destinations, and I don't have time this evening to go through 280 destinations with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about a couple of destinations. We've seen recently that because a lot of people didn't holiday last year, and they don't know whether they're able to go on holidays this year, that they're really looking for some bucket list destinations. So the first place that I'm going to take you to this evening is Alaska. And I have this lovely video. It's a short video. It's 2.5 minutes. And it shows some lovely visuals of what you can see in Alaska. And it's narrated by one of my colleagues, Emma, who actually did this cruise. And so I think it'll give you a little bit of inspiration, and it'll give you some of her tips and recommendations too.
My favourite destination in the world is Alaska, and until you've been to Alaska, you can't appreciate how incredible Alaska's scenery is, and of course the wildlife in Alaska's wilderness. We have 3 ships in Alaska, and they sail from either Seattle, Vancouver or Seward, and typically it's from May until September. These are the sailings we have on offer at Celebrity Cruises. On every Celebrity Cruises itinerary, every single guest will visit a glacier. So this is really a unique selling point, whether it is Dawes Glacier or my personal favourite, which is the Hubbard Glacier, 6 miles wide, and it is incredible to see. There's lots of different forms of wildlife in Alaska, and I really like to refer to this as web, which is whales, eagles and bears. So whales, I was lucky enough to see them in the natural environment as I was walking into Icy Strait Point. Bald eagles, they are everywhere in Alaska. Of course, you're going to be able to see those. And if you're lucky enough to see bears too. So again, the small group excursions, we take them right into the wilderness of Alaska to really see if we can see some of those bears. Guests on board can expect to hear lots of information about Alaska itself. We do have the dedicated teams that have sailed in Alaska many times, but we also bring on naturalists and guest speakers who can really bring to life Alaska and what our guests should be looking for. And of course, on our Solstice class ships, we have half an acre of real grass for customers to sit back and relax and really take in the breathtaking views as we sail. With Celebrity Cruises, 85% of the ship is typically a balcony and above, which is a great option for your customers to choose from. My personal recommendation is to go for Aqua Class, having dedicated restaurant Blue to have for breakfast and dinner. But of course, when you are in Alaska, you've been out all day, it's great to come back, sit back and relax in the Persian Garden on the hotbeds as you're sailing from port to port. There are pre and post cruise tours available, so if you do have customers that are looking for that experience to extend their stay with a premium rail journey, we have that itinerary available that they can package that onto. For anyone that's thinking of Alaska, definitely do it. It really is a bucket list destination and it should be ticked off.
So I hope that video gave you a nice overview of Alaska. So just to kind of remind you that the Alaska season runs from May to September. It's a place that people who are into wildlife and nature just adore going to. And as Emma mentioned, when you cruise with us in Alaska, you will sail by a glacier and also through the Inside Passage, which is pretty much, it's like a labyrinth of fjords. There's an abundance of wildlife. You go through lakes, etc. It's absolutely stunning. And the great thing about Alaska during the summertime is that there's longer daylight, so it's fantastic for taking your photo opportunities. A lot of guests who cruise in Alaska also combine it with a cruise tour. So whether it's Canadian Rockies or an Alaska tour, people either do it post or pre the cruise. So the guys in Oasis Travel will be able to look at this for you. And I think that tomorrow evening there is actually another one of these, and I think it's focusing on the Canadian Rockies. So if it's of interest to you, I'm sure you can tune in tomorrow night, and Sandra will probably give you the details at the end of this. So that's Alaska. We have, this week is our sailing of the week. So this is a great offer that we have with Oasis at the moment. So it's for an 8-night fly cruise from Dublin, sailing from Vancouver in May, and it's doing the Alaska Hubbard Glacier. And just a reminder that you'll see there that everything is included, your drinks, your Wi-Fi and your tips. And you'll see there that the inside starts at 2-1 and your balcony is 2-4 per person. So it's a really good deal for Alaska this week. And just to mention that anyone who is here tonight, what we are doing is if you do make a booking with Oasis by Saturday afternoon, we are giving you 100 onboard credit in US dollars into your stateroom for coming here tonight and listening to me. So thank you. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take you from Alaska over to Europe. And we're going to have a little look at what we have going on in Europe in 2022. The great thing is that we have our 2 newest ships, Edge and Apex, will be sailing out of Europe in 2022. We have 6 ships based there in total. 1 will be sailing out of Southampton. Apex will actually be sailing out of Amsterdam, and then the others will be sailing out of Rome, Barcelona and Venice, which is great because we have good air connectivity from here to those destinations, so it does make the cruising a little bit easier to access. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you another lovely video on cruising in the Med, just to give you some inspiration, and you can see some of the beautiful sights that we have on offer on these cruises. So I hope you enjoyed looking at that. I certainly did. Sitting here on a cold, wet evening in Dublin with the rain lashing outside, I think I would love to be in the Med at the moment. As you'll see from that video, a lot of what we sail around the Med is we go, the Greek islands are incorporated in an awful lot of the cruises that we do. They are so popular, that's why we have them included. 4 of the ships that we use in the Mediterranean touch Greece in some shape or form on their itineraries. One of my favorite ones is Infinity sailing out of Venice, and we actually have a lovely offer here this week. So it's Italy, Croatia and the Greek islands, and it's in July. And it's a 7-night fly cruise from Dublin, and you'll see it inside is from 1-3 and an ocean view from 1-5. And again, everything is included, your drinks, your tips and your Wi-Fi and your flights from Dublin. So that's a really good value. And Dubrovnik is absolutely stunning, as well as the Greek islands. So I think it would be a gorgeous cruise to take in 2022. Also, just to head slightly away from the Med, I just wanted to touch on the fjords, because I know that Oasis Travel would have had a lot of guests booked to sail out of Dublin last year on reflection to do the Norwegian Fjords. And unfortunately, because of circumstances, those cruises didn't happen. But the great thing is that Apex, this brand new ship we have that nobody has yet sailed on, is going to be sailing out of Amsterdam in 2022. And she's going to be doing 7-night Norwegian Fjord cruises. So if there is anybody who missed out the opportunity, this would be the ideal opportunity for you to book to do the Norwegian Fjords. And this in 2022, one of the sailings is actually taking in 2 new destinations in Norway. One is Haugesund, which is called the birthplace of Norway. It's a lot of Viking history. And the other one is Malda, which is called the town of the roses because it's beautiful, mild climate, and they grow roses there a lot during the summer. But there's also a road called the Atlantic Road in Malda, which was awarded the Norwegian Construction Prize of the Century. And it's basically this amazing road that drives over the Atlantic, through islands, across bays and moors. And I did it many years ago, and it's like doing the Wild Atlantic Way, but on steroids. It's absolutely stunning. I actually did the fjords 2 years ago, back in 2019, with my sister. So this is just some of our little pictures, and I absolutely loved it. She had never cruised before. She was new to cruise, and now she just can't wait to cruise again. And I have to say, it completely blew me away. The different places we visited, and the scenery was just stunning. And she loved the onboard experience and the onshore experience, and is now looking to go somewhere else. But other destinations, other itineraries that Apex is doing that I think is of interest is also from Amsterdam. She's doing a 12-night Scan Russia, and there's one other one that she's doing in September and October. It's 3 cruises, and it's a 12-night Israel and Turkey cruise. So it takes in Ephesus and does an overnight in Jerusalem, and also goes to Cyprus as well. So it could be a really interesting one if you're looking for something a little bit different. So this week we have a great offer on the fjords. As you'll see, in June, it's a 7-night fly cruise taking in Ålesund and Alden, as well as Granger. And it's 7 nights, inside stateroom, starts from 1,600 per person, and that includes your flights as well. So again, really good offer this week. And again, if you book it, you'll get your additional 100 onboard credit as well, your $100. So now I'm going to take you from Europe, and we're going to go down under to Australia and New Zealand. So I have my last little video to show you this evening, which I hope will give you some inspiration on what you can do down under. So that's just some inspiration for Australia and New Zealand. So just to explain that beautiful ship that you saw in Alaska, which is Eclipse, when she finishes her season in Alaska in September, she is sailing down to Australia and New Zealand to get some winter sunshine. So she's going to be sailing from September 22 through to April 23. And down in Australia and New Zealand, we offer 19 different itineraries. They include some lovely food and wine itineraries too. There's a lovely 9-night Melbourne, Adelaide and Hobart wine tour. So if you're interested in wine, it could be a really interesting tour, cruise tour to take. And we also do some shorter ones, a 5-night one to Tasmania as well. So it may be a case that you are planning a trip to Australia and that you hadn't even thought about doing a cruise. So you could maybe think about tying a cruise in with your trip, or in some cases, some people actually go down to Australia and they see it through the whole cruise experience. What I'm going to do is just show you two of our most popular ones. We have here the Great Barrier Reef Highlights cruise, and this is a 10 or 11 night Great Barrier Reef cruise. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's 133 square miles. It has 3,000 reefs. It has 900 islands. It is a snorkeling and diving paradise. So for anyone who's interested in that, this is an amazing cruise. And we do an overnight in Cairns, and you have the opportunity in this overnight to actually sleep under the stars on a pontoon on the Barrier Reef. So if that's not a bucket list thing to do, I don't know what is. It's certainly something I would love to do. With that, then we also have this New Zealand. This is one of our more popular cruises in New Zealand, and again it ranges from 11 to 13 nights. Both these cruises sail out of Sydney, and you also have the opportunity, if you wanted with these cruises, to do what we call a back-to-back. So you could actually do both of these cruises if you wish. So you could do both Australia and New Zealand in the one cruise, or either or. In this cruise, we sail through all these different sounds. So again, it's going through fjords. I actually think I'm fixated with fjords at this stage. New Zealand is such a diverse country. You have fjords, you have lush rainforests, you have desert, you have everything. And this cruise takes in pretty much everything that you would want to see. It also touches, it goes to Tauranga, which is the Maori, where you can see the Maori culture, etc. And the Bay of Islands is just a beautiful way to finish off, because they've got some of the best beaches in the world there. So again, if you're interested in the outdoors, in kayaking, sailing, snorkeling, all that kind of stuff, this is definitely a cruise for you. And like that, the staff in Oasis Travel, who are the experts, they can tailor make all these cruises for you. So if you go to them and say, well, these are the destinations I'd like to go to, they will be able to tailor make and package it for you. So then very briefly, just to let you know that we have a Captain's Club member offer at the moment. So I know Sandra mentioned that some of you may have cruised with us before, so you may be Captain's Club members. So Oasis Travel have details of this, but there are savings to be made in the month of March on certain cruises to Australia, New Zealand and Asia. So if you're looking at one of those, certainly talk to the staff in Oasis Travel. I'd just like to remind you as well that anyone who has a future cruise certificate that you may have got from a suspended sailing, that they are now valid for cruises right up until the 30th of September 2022. So the last booking date for them would be the 30th of April 2022. So you have plenty of time, but I would recommend that you do book to get what you want as soon as possible, because we will eventually have limited availability. But that's just to let you know about the future cruise. And finally, then we also have our Cruise of Confidence, which we've extended until the 31st of May. So if you book now or before the 31st of May with, say, the best price offer, so you book now and then 6 months down the road, you see the same cruise, the same cabin at a lower price, we will change that for you. So there's great benefit to book now. So I just want to say thank you very much, and just a reminder that anyone who books by Saturday afternoon will receive $100 onboard credit for attending this evening. So thank you, and I'll put over to Sandra.
Valerie, thank you very much indeed. I mean, certainly that's plenty to inspire us. I must admit that Alaska is next on my list. Anybody that I know that has been has just raved about it. So I'd really love to go to Alaska. But I think that our regular celebrity cruisers have really welcomed the Cruise with Confidence, and the fact that if you do book now and the cruise is cheaper, because this is something that people are always asking us. And it's
I know. And people used to kind of wait, when should I book? When should I book? But I suppose we introduced this as well because we brought in the always included. We're no longer going to have sales where we offer free drinks or we offer this, because we've now built all that in. So you're going to get that all the time. So that's why we're able to introduce this. So if the price happens to come down for some reason, then you can avail of that. So now is a good time to book.
The always included is great too, because I think, you know, for most people, for a couple, if you're adding a drinks package and you're adding, you know, Wi-Fi and you're going on a 9-10 night cruise, well, it's not hard to clock up a bill of £1,000, you know,
Oh
for
yeah.
that. So
Well,
the fact that that's included and some of the prices are really good is very welcome.
yeah.
So now I have some questions for the
Okay.
Glasgow. So there's been a few emails and just a couple on the Q&A. So
Sure.
of course, yes, there's been about 5 or 6 people asking, do you know when cruising is going to restart this year?
Well, let me get my little crystal ball out. It's a $6 million question, I think. Well, we're currently suspended up until the 31st of May this year. So we are hoping that we will be able to cruise at some stage this year. At the moment, I mean, you're aware that we had our healthy sail panel. We had 74 protocols and how we're going to return to sailing. They've been submitted to the CDC. We're governed by, because we're an American company, governed by the CDC in the US. So they've given us this conditional sailing. So we're now working through our protocols to make sure that when we do go back to service, that, you know, everything is in place, because obviously the health and safety of our guests and our staff are the most important things. So we can't wait to get back sailing, and as soon as we can, we will be in the water. But we are hoping that we will have some ships in the water at some stage this year.
Yeah, there seems to be confidence around sort of later this year for sure.
There is. And there has been some positive things as well. I mean, we had our sister company, Royal. They were quite successfully did some cruises out of Singapore. So it's great to see that. And they're now doing some cruises out of Israel, purely for Israelis in May. So, I mean, it is good to see all these things. It's all very positive. So, and it can only help.
Yes. So, yes, they're saying that cruising actually has already returned, but it's a phased approach, and obviously.
Exactly. And when we do return, it will be, as you say, it'll be a phased approach. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Val, John's mentioning, who was on, we did a Silver Seas evening a couple of weeks ago, when the managing director stated that the ships would be sailing at 75% occupancy. Is that something that Celebrity would intend to do?
Yes, we would envisage that too. I mean, anything that I've seen, certainly in our protocols and stuff, we will not be filling the ships to capacity. So if we're only doing 75%, then there's only going to be 75% availability. So if you really have a cruise that you want to go to or you want to book, I would suggest you book sooner rather than later, because once we get the go ahead that we can sail or we can get on airplanes and leave this country, you will see people will start booking. But the great thing with Cruise with Confidence is you can book now, and if you want to change it, we'll actually let you change. You won't be charged to change it. So my thing is, book now if there's good availability, get the cabin that you want, because there's nothing worse if you want to have a nice balcony cabin on, a particular deck, etc. So I would say book as soon as you can, really, and there is the flexibility there to change.
And it is usual that the early bookers get the best deals. Not always, but it is usual.
Yeah, but they get the best availability. You get the cabins that you want. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And just a couple more of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Martina has a special celebration and is wondering when October 2023 is on sale. Now, I know we have cruise bookings for 2023, but it maybe depends on the destination. So
what destination is?
Hasn't said, but Martina will maybe come back to you tomorrow, because I just wanted to say that definitely we have some bookings for 2023.
Yeah. And I know it's definitely April 23, definitely. We are releasing, I know, unless it's the Galapagos. If it's the Galapagos, then that is going to be released soon, I think, with the next couple of weeks. So, but our ships are perfect for a celebration. And Martina, if you book for your celebration, let me know, and we'll make sure that we put something extra in your cabin to make sure it's a special celebration.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And just finally, a comment from Joe, who's just expressing a bit of disappointment that Apex is not in Europe in the summer. Now, I think Apex is sailing from September. Am I right, in Europe?
Yeah, Apex Edge was taken out of Edge was taken out of Europe for this summer. Apex is still there at the moment. but we have suspended up until May. So
Okay, okay.
So
But you can book for Apex from September. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, well, I suppose the summer season this year finishes the end of October, but Apex is in Amsterdam next year.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So,
I suppose
and
ships are
Edge.
kind of all over the world, and it's where they're going to bring them from. Just to start cruising is always going to be a challenge.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So I suppose that's why we're more focusing on 2022, because at least we can say, yes, we're hopefully definitely have ships in these particular areas. But at the moment, because it is quite up in the air, yeah, we hope that the ships that are currently booked to sail in Europe will sail. But at the moment, as I said, we are suspended until the 31st of May, and we just have to wait and see what the CDC say and about the protocols, etc. And as soon as we can get back sailing, we will be shouting about it, definitely, you know.
And just, I know that our shops are closed at the minute, but we actually have a virtual reality experience for Apex and Edge, just in case anybody who's tuned in tonight hasn't seen it. So we have it in our specialist cruise office in Hard Street, and we're also extending this to our office in Bangor and our new office in the Lisburn Road. So it's where you can come into the office, you put on a virtual headset, and you're given a tour. You can see an infinite balcony cabin on the Edge class ships. You can see what it's like to be on the magic carpet.
Yeah.
And you can see the experience in Eden. So it's really good because
it is.
I know
it's
when
a fabulous tool.
goggles on, can I just stay here? Because you really do feel as if you're on a cruise ship. So
you do.
Everybody's very welcome to come and try this out when our shops reopen. But just a reminder, look, Val, just to say a huge thank you to you tonight, and thank you very much for the additional onboard credit. I mean,
no, you're very welcome. And sorry about my little technical issue at the start. I was like, I can't find my presentation.
We all have them, don't worry, we all have them. And so just a reminder to everybody, while we are still in lockdown, we have a small team that are working, so you can phone any of your local Oasis offices and the calls will be answered from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock Monday to Saturday. You can also send an email to inquiries@oasis-travel.co.uk and somebody will get back to you, or we have a sort of a team on social media working into the evening. Val, you mentioned that about tomorrow night. Yes, we are having an event tomorrow night on Canada. Now, we're not covering cruises. It's going to be land-based holidays in Canada. But as Val said, really brilliant for a pre or post-cruise tour. So we're going to be having a look at the Canadian Rockies and other Canadian holidays. So if you'd like to join us, just send an email to inquiries@oasis-travel.co.uk and we'll make sure that we send you a copy, or we send you the link. We'll send everyone a copy of the presentation tonight so that you can be reminded about that. And I think that is it from us tonight. So thanks again to everybody for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again, Val.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Good night.